Hello and welcome to the Soccer Summary, English Premier League fixtures week 33, part 2. Yesterday I uploaded a video for the Saturday fixtures. Today I'm putting on the Sunday fixtures. Big fixtures today. We've got Manchester United versus Tottenham, Leicester, Sunderland and Liverpool and Stoke. So we'll crack straight on with the first game, which is Leicester versus Sunderland. Okay, so Sunderland versus Leicester. This is a must win game for Sunderland. It just is. They have to win this game. I mean, unfortunately, they look like they're going down with Newcastle. It'll be very hard for them to catch Norwich, who are picking up wins. Newcastle aren't winning. Sunderland are drawing a lot, which is getting points on the board, but they need wins now. And even if they get them, I just see other teams pulling away as well. And it's come really at the hardest time because they're playing Leicester, who are 1-0 machine. They're just grinding out results. Sir Alex Ferguson said in the week that this is championship winning form, and that's from a manager who's won it 13 times. So I think we can take that as, I think this is Leicester's title now. There's a lot of people in the week though saying that Leicester don't have to win, that the pressure's not on them. I don't think it's on the players and the manager at the moment, but I think the media is waiting with like sharpening knives, waiting for Leicester to slip up, even if it isn't a massive, like they lose one game, then they lose their second, then they lose their third. They just want them to slip up because that's what everybody's been saying all season. Leicester will eventually slip up, and everyone wants to say, I told you so, now the pressure's really on. I don't think they will. I think they'll beat Sunderland tomorrow. I think it's a big shame because, I mean, if you'd have said at the beginning that Sam Allardyce would have been in charge of Sunderland, you'd have said no way are they going down, but unfortunately it looks like they are. Okay, so the next game is Liverpool versus Stoke. I think this is quite a big game with not much to play for. It's a big game in the sense that last season Stoke hammered them 6-1. Liverpool fans don't forget. They don't forget anything. They keep bringing up European wins from a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, midweek hangover for Liverpool could be a factor in this game. They played in the Europa, they played very strong, very hard. I personally thought they would get hammered by Dortmund. I thought Dortmund were odds-on favourites to win. But look, they proved me wrong. When Liverpool bring them to Anfield, I think they will get a good result. I think if they knock Dortmund out, they're favourites for the Europa. And if they win it, they're in the Champions League, which is huge for the club. Massive for the club. On the other side, we've got Stoke. Their only big highlight probably for this game is that Shaqiri is back. I keep hearing about Stoke and Liverpool that they should have done better this season, that they should be up there, that they should be higher, that they should be pushing for fourth. That Stoke maybe should be probably in the position that Manchester United are. And West Ham trying to just get that fourth position. There should be more teams in that race, but at the expense of who, really? Because they don't deserve to be there over the teams that are there. West Ham have been a different class compared to Stoke and Liverpool. Manchester United, they've spent a lot of money. They haven't played very well, but they're still there. The table doesn't lie. If you're there, you've earned it. And unfortunately, I think Stoke and Liverpool are just too far out. But like I say, Liverpool have got that saving grace that they can pull it together, maybe win the Europa and get into the Champions League. It would be amazing for them. This game, I think, if the midweek doesn't affect them, Liverpool will win. I don't think you know what you're going to get with Stoke. 1 minute they're playing football like Barcelona. The next minute they're playing football like Stoke. So yeah, I think Liverpool will win this game. Okay, so the last fixture of week 33 in the English Premier League is Tottenham versus Manchester United. This is a fixture in the past, which is basically doesn't disappoint. There's usually a lot of goals, and the famous comeback from Manchester United against Tottenham. Basically, it's usually a very exciting game. Unfortunately, with the way that Tottenham defend and the way that Manchester United turn it on against the big clubs, I just don't see this being a thriller. I see it being more of a 1-0 or a 1-1 game. And I think it'll be quite physical as well. I think they'll rough each other up. And Tottenham have been a massive surprise package this season, as big a surprise as Leicester. And because teams like Leicester, it's hard to judge where they're going to finish in the season, because they could finish 10th, they could finish bottom, they could just push near Europe. We've seen it happen before with these sides that no one really thinks much about at the beginning of the season. But you look at Tottenham and you usually can say they'll finish around 6th position every year. And the odd year they pushed, I think one year they got top 4, didn't they, with Harry Redknapp? They had Gareth Bale in the side. But you can usually, at the beginning of the season, pick Tottenham out. You say there's probably about 3 places in the league that you can finish, and they're all next to each other. So for them to be second in the table at this point is huge. And basically, the only advice that you could ever give Tottenham is just keep on winning. Because if Leicester do slip up, you're going to be the team that wins the league. And if they win it instead of Arsenal, I mean, next season will be crazy. Arsenal fans will go mental if Tottenham, even in this position, if they finish higher than them, you just can't see Arsenal fans being very happy with Arsene Wenger at all. Pochettino and his players, if he keeps that group of players and he stays at Tottenham and they add to the squad, they could be very scary next season. They could be the team where Pep at Man City looks and says, okay, this is the team that's going to push us this year. And on the other hand, you've got Manchester United. They must be a dream for newspapers. That, people who write headlines. This team is just, the stuff that comes out of Louis van Gaal's mouth sometimes is an absolute farce. It's ridiculous. I don't know what his philosophy is. I don't know if he knows. The players really don't know. One game they turn up and they fly down the wings and they attack. The next time they're passing the ball backwards like it's a rugby match. And for the money they've spent, I just don't see who they've spent it on. Martial is probably the saving grace signing this season. He's been really, really good. I think they overspent a little bit, but when you're Manchester United, you're gonna get ripped off. Mata, I think, is a really, really good player. Unfortunately, I think for the last 2 seasons he's played on the wide right. It's only towards the end of this season really where he's moved him into the middle. We all know Manchester United. We don't have to say it. We expect them to be up here, and they're not. And I think unless they get rid of Louis van Gaal, they're not going to be next year either. I think Mourinho has to go to this club. I think, Alex Ferguson picked David Moyes. It didn't work out. Ed Woodward has picked Louis van Gaal. It's not working out. I think it's time for the fans to pick the next manager, and the majority of the fans say Mourinho. I hear a lot of bad things about Mourinho not being like, we don't need to buy this player, we don't need Mourinho, we can bring the youth through. And Mourinho gets a lot of bad press for not bringing youth through. But if you actually look at the teams he's been at, the big teams, when do these teams bring youth through? It's not their policy. He was at, Real Madrid. They don't bring youth players through anymore, Real Madrid. They just don't. They buy their players. They wait until you make them good and then they buy them. Ronaldo, De Gea, they want De Gea. I mean, they didn't want him when he was 19 at Atletico Madrid like Manchester United did. They didn't want Ronaldo when he was 18 at Sporting Lisbon like Manchester United did. they buy their teams. Inter Milan, another team where they bought their wealth. They bought it before Mourinho, and when he left, they had the same team and did nothing with it. And then you see Chelsea as well, who do have a great youth and a great academy and great trainers, but they make so much money on loaning these players out. It's like a second income for them. They will just keep producing young talent and sending it out. I think they had, I don't know, it might be 50 plus players on loan from their youth academies. All their wages are getting paid by other clubs. They're getting fees in, they're getting this and that. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne, when they signed him, went straight out on loan before he was brought back and sold. They make a very, very good profit, Chelsea, off basically their youth system, and you're not going to make that profit if you use the players. So, yeah, I don't think Mourinho's been at that level where you can use the youth. He doesn't get the choice to use youth. At Manchester United, it will be in his job description to use youth, so he'll have to use them. So basically, I think it's Louis van Gaal's time to go and just give Mourinho a chance. I'm sure he won't disappoint. I probably see Tottenham winning this game, at the very least a draw. But a draw's not good enough for either side. They need to win. And if it comes down to one team will get 3 points, I just see Tottenham just doing it. I think they'll outrun, outpace, outstrength Manchester United. And it would be great to see Tottenham and Leicester coming into the last few games of the season, both still pushing for the title. It would mean Leicester would have to drop some points, but it would be brilliant to see these two teams and everybody else who have spent the millions and millions and millions just looking around and saying, we need to start copying the smaller teams. Say, I know Tottenham's a massive, massive team, but no one expected them to be here this season. So I think everybody can learn a lot from the Leicesters and Tottenhams of the league and the West Hams. And they really, really need to start taking these lessons and putting them into practice. So, there you go.